Hey, 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 welcome back to the Vault of Cult. It's Chris.
And Mark.
Yes.
You alright?
Yeah, are we alright? Yeah, I'm alright. Are you alright?
I'm alright. That was a very enthusiastic hey, hey, hey!
Yeah, I'm getting in there like bang straight away.
Yeah.
Setting the tone.
I'm not sure
in the
you
mood.
can pull it off.
Hmm.
Any road.
Anyway, so guys, thanks for joining us again. Excuse me. Really appreciate the support out there. I know you guys are listening. Our listenership is going up. And we really appreciate the support.
Yeah. And so keep it going. Keep it listening. Tell your mates about it.
Spread it social media.
Yeah, all the medias.
All the medias.
All to go. If you
all
know
the Facebooks.
Yeah. If you know anyone in television or
yeah, it would help.
Spread
the word.
Spread the word.
We do appreciate it. So yeah, thanks guys for joining us for this week's episode of the Vault of Cult. And this episode we will be discussing
the Goonies.
Wow.
The Goonies.
We got here.
I know, yeah.
We got here. We've definitely got here. Been dying to speak about this. Dying to put my thoughts out there.
Honestly, literally every time anyone said, "Oh, you should do this," and Chris especially has been like, "Yeah, but I want to do Goonies." So here we are, listeners.
We're here. We've done it.
Listeners.
We're getting out there, and I hope you enjoy the show because I've got a lot to talk about. It is. I wouldn't necessarily say it's one of my favourite films, but it's a film that I love it. I do love it.
Yeah. I wouldn't say I had a terribly strong connection to this film. I watched it, I wouldn't say a lot when I were a kid, but I watched it enough to be familiar with it, and then as I've got older, I've never sort of really revisited it. And so it's been good. It's been good for me to watch it, because I watched it as a child, as the target audience that it's after, and as an adult, so that's been an interesting viewpoint. But yeah, not one of my favourite films.
But do you know what? It's one of them films that I've always had in my collection of films, always in some format. You know, whether it be video or DVD. Yeah. And it is one I will revisit on a regular basis, maybe once every 18 months, 2 years.
So it's one of those films. It's a standard. Bang! I can put that in DVD player.
Yeah.
I can put that in via whatever method.
Stream now and stuff.
Stream it.
Yeah, that's how you watched it, actually.
Exactly. Yeah, rented it.
Rented it. What an old-fashioned thing that is.
I know. Yeah.
Rent it.
Yeah.
Who rents it?
Rent it. Can you remember Blockbusters?
Oh, loved it.
How many times do you reckon the Goonies were probably rented out of places like Blockbusters?
That's an interesting question.
Do you know what I mean? An interesting question. Someone could have Googled beforehand, and no one has.
But if I knew what the question was, I could have found the answer.
Well, if you're going to be throwing perfectly sensible things at me like that. But yeah.
So you know, it is one of them films that, you know, it's a staple in my collection, and I do watch it on a kind of semi-regular basis. So guys, let's get talking about the film. We're talking about the Goonies today. The film was released June the 7th in America, 1985, and it was produced by Amblin and Warner Brothers. Now, just to give you a little tiny bit of background, Amblin produced a lot of... How would you class it? What would you say?
Big blockbuster, family fare.
E.T. was one of their big ones, so that gives you kind of setting the tone.
But it's Steven Spielberg's production company, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
And that's the thing. The story was written, well, not written. The story was thought of by Steven Spielberg,
but it was written by our old mate
Chris Columbus of Mrs. Doubtfire fame, or a future Mrs. Doubtfire fame.
Yeah, future Mrs. Doubtfire fame. Probably about what? This came out in '85. Doubtfire is what?
But it's 9 years later or something like that.
No, so not even that. So anyway, Chris Columbus, he wrote it. So the film made $124 million worldwide on a $19 million budget, which is very respectable.
Very respectable. I've got a breakdown of those numbers.
Go on.
It made $63.9 million domestic
Decent.
60
So treble its budget then.
Yeah, exactly. And 60.6 million worldwide outside of the US and Canada.
Oh, so
US and Canada is how they classify domestic
box office.
and then 60.6 worldwide, so rest of the world. And that is decent. However, it didn't make the money that they thought it would.
Really?
Yeah, they thought it were going to do gang busters.
Really?
Like,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, like
they expected it.
In US things, they expected it 80, 90. Do you
Domestic?
know what I mean? Yeah, they were. They really thought it were gonna.
Wow.
It was gonna do better.
Don't forget though, Ghostbusters, same budget as Ghostbusters. You know, it's only a couple of years later.
Well, yeah, and
Ghostbusters, like, that was gangbusters money.
That was gangbusters money.
To be fair.
It's tidy. It's made a tidy.
Yeah, listen, if your budget's 20 million and you make 124 million, you're happy days, aren't you?
And I almost think that this is literally what this podcast was made for. Something like the Goonies. It has grown it's only ever grown since it initially came out. Its main following has come from home video sales. I'm quite sure that this must be one of those films.
Oh yeah. That
has gained its traction, not necessarily from people who went to pictures to go and see it at the time. It's I get that kids will love that, and it's sat in your front room. I bet you most people's memories are being
watching it at home.
Watching it at home.
Because I'm sure it was only a short domestic run. So, in another interesting fact, guys, the film was directed none other than Richard Donner of Superman fame.
Superman, yeah.
And he directed The Omen.
Yeah.
The original Omen, and he also was responsible for the Lethal Weapon series.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh no. Yeah, I've got that written down.
He's got notes this time, guys. He's got notes.
Did Scrooged?
He did.
He did do Scrooged.
Hint, hint. One of my favourite Christmas films, starring Bill Murray.
It's fucking great for
Christmas. It is fucking, guys, we're hoping to cover some Christmas stuff nearer Christmas, and I'm telling you now, Scrooged will be discussed because it's
with Bill Murray again.
Exactly.
Once again, we link ourselves back.
We find
we're diving into a fucking narrative here.
Yeah, this is crazy. Produced by Steven Spielberg, as we know, written by Chris Columbus. And now the composer was a guy called Dave Grusin. Now I think the score to the film is great.
It's fun, isn't it?
It's fun, yeah. It's fun. It evokes adventure. It's just got, especially
the Fratelli chase. That's the famous one.
Which is what I was going to discuss at the beginning of the film, where all the characters are introduced one by one during the car chase. Literally. Mm-hmm. We'll get onto that.
Yeah.
We'll get onto that in a minute.
But great little soundtrack.
Really, really good. Really, really good. Also, the special effects were done by ILM.
Yes, I have also got that written down. Industrial Light and Magic, once again.
Magic Touch.
Yeah,
exactly. They're the go-to guys. They were the go-to guys.
I didn't find out what they actually did. Presumably they did the practical effects, because there's not a lot in the way of...
Well, this is one of the points that I've actually noticed with the film is it's all practical, and I think the only special effects at the end is the matte painting of the ship. That's a matte painting now.
Yeah, it doesn't hold up very well.
I thought it did actually.
It's a bit Captain Pugwash.
No, I'm not, okay, yeah, but for 1985, matte painting standards, we'll go with it.
But practical effects suit that film.
100%.
Suit it down to the ground.
Yeah, it doesn't need any...
But it's traps, isn't it? You're in a tomb.
Yeah. Like I say, it's all practical. Surprisingly, when I seen that, I thought, "Oh, that's interesting."
But then again, it is the time. It is the time.
Yeah, the mid '80s, when just before the big leap into CGI, and obviously ILM were well known for that. So, guys, going on to the cast. Funny enough, the cast is littered with quite famous people.
Yeah.
So let's start with the beginning. Let's start with a gentleman called Sean Astin. His character's called Mikey, and he's actually Samwise Gamgee in Lord of the Rings.
It is. Samwise.
Yeah, Frodo.
Yeah, don't you lose him, Samwise Gamgee. Oh, he's so cute.
Oh,
it's Sam.
Fucking hell. Oh, I think we're definitely going to do a Lord of the Rings show.
We've got to do a Lord.
That's going to be a trilogy. We've got to do.
Then again, who does a cult podcast and it's like, no, we're not doing Lord of the Rings.
No, it doesn't happen. Doesn't happen, does it?
We're not doing those small insignificant films in like film history. Yeah. No, we'll not do them.
And playing Mikey's brother, a gentleman called Josh Brolin, his character's Brand, he's Mikey's brother in it. He was Thanos in the Avengers and amongst these other. Yeah, he's Thanos. Did you not know that?
No,
he's Thanos. Yeah, he's actually.
Well, I'm starting to deeply swerve Marvel.
I know. Well, let's not get down the Marvel rabbit hole.
I know, but it's a deep rabbit hole. But are we not bored? People of Britain, are we not bored?
We'll discuss that another time. Yeah. So there's the guy called Jeff Cohen. He played Chunk, and he's literally not done much after Goonies. He didn't really do much after Goonies. To be fair, he just kind of fucked off, disappeared.
No, yeah.
The next character in the film is Corey Feldman, now very famous actor, a child actor from the 80s. He was in Gremlins and Lost Boys, which are two very big pop culture-y films.
Weren't Gremlins also written by Chris Columbus?
It was. See how we're linking it in here? This is crazy shit.
It's crazy. The people who worked on stuff also worked on other stuff. Crazy.
And we've got Jonathan Kwan as Data, who... What other film was he in? Another famous film?
Second Indiana Jones film.
Temple of Doom.
Temple of Doom, thank you.
Yeah, and he was called Short Round.
Yeah.
You cheat, you lie! You cheat, you lie! You cheat, you lie!
The walking stereotype.
Yes, proper. Well. Yeah, you won't get away with that now, would you?
In Goonies, walking stereotype. Clever inventor, little Asian who can't speak English.
Yes, yeah. Oh, and then we're going to move on to the bad guys, which is a family of criminals known as the Fratellis, which is where the band got the name from.
Is it?
Yes.
Do you know, I've never thought about it.
Fun facts.
Fun facts. These are fun facts. Let's have fun with them.
So the sloth, who is like basically a deformed kind of simpleton, basically, and their mum is who they refer to as Mama, a lady called Anne Ramsey, who was nominated for an Oscar in Throw Mama from the Train, which is a comedy. That I'm sure it's a comedy, isn't it?
Yeah, I've never seen it. I've heard of it.
I probably have seen it, but I don't. I've got this. She died in 1988.
Yeah, there's a story here I've got about her that makes me feel slightly bad. But I'm going to tell you anyway.
Please.
Basically, my cousin thought she was a man and went to me as a young person. Went, it's a man in drag. And so for years and years, I loved, because she is a very masculine looking old lady.
She is.
Yeah.
We're not
so I believed it, and I was saying for years, is a man in drag. And all my mates, they're going, it isn't, and I wouldn't have it. Wouldn't have it for years until I googled it, like years ago, and I was like, oh.
It's a real actress.
And I don't know why, but I felt really bad about it ever since that I'm walking around going, it's a bloke. And it isn't, and
no.
Yeah.
Oh, so you believed it and then you found out the truth.
Felt very bad about that.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
But she has got a bit of a raspy voice as well.
She's
small, stocky, and raspy, like... It's like a proper fucking growl. So she's got two sons with her. One of them's called Jake, who's played by Robert Darver. Now, Robert Darver, great fucking character actor. Great character actor. He was the bad guy in License to Kill. Prestige.
Oh, yeah?
He was also in Predator 2 as some kind of... He tends to play like the government...
I think I told you this.
He's in Die Hard as well.
Oh, yeah. But I think I told you this before. I've never watched Predator 2. I've never watched any sequel Predator films.
Right, so
I watched Predator and I was like, oh, I'm happy with that.
But do you know what? The sequel, mate, have got fuck all apart from the Predator to do. Like, the second one's set in, like, modern times and in a set. So it's... And Danny Glover's the main guy in it, which is, like, a bit fucking weird just as a get-go. That premise strange. So the next of her sons, called Francis, he played by an actor called Joe Pantoliano, and he was in The Matrix.
Was he? Were he in The
Matrix?
Matrix?
The Matrix, yeah. I didn't write his character name down, to be honest. Cypher.
Oh, was it?
The bald guy, yeah, with the glasses.
Oh, yeah, he does look like... Oh, of course.
It's him. And to be fair, he's in a few films, but Robert Darby as well, like I was saying, he's a great character actor. He pops up, you know, when you know his face, you'd be like, oh, you've seen him in a few of these kind of famous films. So, as we said, there's all the cast. Synopsis of the film. Group of misfits call themselves the Goonies. They basically find a treasure map, and this leads them to want to go on an adventure. And while they go on an adventure, they're followed by this group of bad guys called the Fratellis. And basically, what the other main part of the plot of the film is the town where they live is going through foreclosure. So there's a big business trying to come and knock all the houses down and fuck all the families off. And literally, they've got 24 hours to find all this money to save the town, or it's bye-bye, and they'll all...
Well, they obviously they can't do it. They know they can't do it, so they're just getting to moving out. Really, it's going to be their last weekend.
It is literally
as Goonies, isn't it? Because they live in this place called the Goondocks.
The Goondocks, yeah,
the Goondocks.
Yeah, that's where they get the name from. Yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah. So it's really they're looking for a way to save their house, but they know they can't.
Yeah, it's the end of the story, and they're really down about it, and really sad that they're all going to have to move away, and they're not going to be able to fucking hang out and be friends. So literally, you've got a cold opening, you've got a skull. Camera zooms in, camera zooms out. It's got the skull again, the skull and crossbones, so you know pirates are going to be involved.
Film.
Yeah, 100%. Zooms out, and the Goonies. No music, just Richard Donner, produced by Spielberg. And then the next scene is the prison escape from the Patelis.
Yeah. I mean, I do love the whole prison escape, because I always think to myself, well, was there no other policeman between him knocking out one policeman and the front door?
The front door's wide open.
He's just one that
just walks out of the prison.
Just walks out the prison, and there's another one at Fratellis putting
fire all around,
in fact, petrol all around, and it's like there was no one there stopping them.
The door's wide open for about 3 minutes.
And then when some police finally do run out after they've already driven off, they're running out and they're putting their gear on, but it looks like they're putting their clothes on. And I always think to myself, oh, that's why you can walk out, because the two people on guard are busy, I don't know, shagging in the house. You know what I mean? What are they doing the dirty?
First thing I noticed, I was like, that door's just wide open.
It's wide open.
The prison door wide open. That was an escape. It wasn't an escape. It was just to fucking go out.
Yeah.
Do you want to leave prison? Yeah, door's open.
Yeah. It's no one watching except this one old bloke who came and opened the door in the first place.
But then I thought, we hit what I think is one of the highlights of the film, how it introduces all the kids and the characters.
It's a cool montage, though, isn't it?
That's exactly what it is.
As the Fratellis are fleeing with their iconic
and
soundtrack.
Do you know what? It introduces each character and each character traits, because you get Data, like you say, he's the gadget guy. He's kind of testing one of his gadgets out, and like the cars come speeding past him and just miss him, and he falls into a bin. Then you've got Chunk, who's in like obviously a fast food place.
Oh yeah,
he's a fat bastard. So he's literally got a fucking burger or a hot dog and like a milkshake, and he presses himself and he goes all over him. I thought that's just Chunk.
That happened to me.
Fuming. But he does on purpose. He's getting that excited by the car chase, and as the Fratellis are being chased by the cops, they drive. How long's that car chase at the beginning? They must go around every fucking square metre of that town, because it introduces all the characters, and like you say, they drive through the school and it introduces like the girls, the cheerleaders. Excuse me. Right. So yeah, that's the introduction. And then obviously you're getting into the softer moments where it's introducing the brothers, and then it's laying the groundwork for the plot in terms of, right, well, we know they've got to move out and a company wants to buy their house and what they're going to do, and it's one of them. It's quite a little, they have like a Josh Brolin and Samwise Gamgee, they have like a bit of a moment, and he's like, I know how you feel, it's really shit. But then Mouth, who's one of the best characters of the film, smart ass little bastard, smooth as you like, wearing his Purple Rain t-shirt, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
He comes in and he straight away he's like, oh, schmoo, and he's combing his hair, and you're like,
he's always combing his hair. All of them have one specific tick that they always do. He's always combing his hair. Chunk's always stuffing his face.
Yeah.
With something.
Or dropping shit.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Oh, do you know what we forgot to do, listeners? Beverage for the show.
Yes, we did.
Forgot to tell you. So, this one's a shout out to our work colleague Sadie.
Hi Sadie, you alright?
Hi Sadie.
Thanks for listening, love.
Thank you. And she was like, beverage for the show is
we asked Sadie what should we get.
Yeah. So she's gonna pick it. And
she's picked it.
Yeah, she's gonna pick it. So nice Desperados.
Thanks Sadie.
Thank you, Sadie.
We like that. So, getting back to the film, you know, that's our first shout out, and I think it's something we should continue to do to show our love and support to our lovely listeners.
Yes.
Though then it introduces Chunk, so here's where the famous truffle shuffle comes into it. So Chunk rocks up at the house, sees the boys.
Mouth won't let him in.
And he's like, oh, Mouth, no, you've got to do it. And he's like, oh, don't make me do it. And Mouth's like, no, you're not coming in.
But you can tell it makes him do it all the time.
All the time.
Yeah, a little bit
he's
of...
like,
You've got to love their friendship group. A little bit of ritual humiliation.
Yeah. Kids can be cruel.
No, I know, but I feel like that'll stick with them for the rest of their fucking life. It's a nice little character building moment. But they'll be at some point at 30 where they've all messed up and met up, and they've got do the truffle shuffle. You're not coming in until you do it.
So he does this weird thing where he lifts up his shirt and like shakes his gut, basically.
He wiggles. Vigorously.
Vigorously
wiggles.
And then to let him in, the most elaborate fucking gate opening I've ever seen.
Yeah,
just open the gate. No, just open the gate.
Feet.
Yeah, it's
literally stride over and open the gate.
But to let him in, he has to do this mad contraption where he pulls this lever.
What are they called?
A
Rube Goldberg
machine.
A machine that, by a chain reaction from one small action, sets off a chain reaction to another small action.
Oh,
at the end, that's what they're called. Rube Goldberg machine.
Rude, is that true?
Yeah, presumably that's the name of the person who did one first.
Alright, so one of these things is the most elaborate gate opening in the world, like ridiculous.
Oh, I don't know, maybe that was one of it, but it's this sort of machine, a chain reactions thing.
Then after Chunk gets in the fucking gap, after he's just opened the gate in the most elaborate way I've ever seen, ever. Next shot is Data across the fucking, he's got a zip wire from the house over the fucking road, and he's like, again, emphasising this gadget dude, and that's his role in the group. So he manages to again. All these gadgets don't really work how they're supposed to work. Well, that's the hook, isn't it? That's the hook for him. So he goes back into. So Data goes the zip wire across from his house into the fucking house where all the other boys are now. So they're having a laugh and they're talking about they don't want to leave and they're going to miss each other. And then as they're fucking about, Chunk drops the statue.
It does, yeah. With the statue of David.
David, with his cock out. Yeah. So then he's like, he literally knocks onto it, catches it, it's like, it's fine, I didn't drop it. And literally as he puts it back down, he slips out with his hand again. And this fucking dick breaks off.
Yeah,
it's his mum's favourite bit. It's his mum's favourite bit as well.
I love that bit where it's like, oh no, this is mum's favourite bit, and it's his dick.
Tiny little bollocks.
And of course, they fix it and they try and they stick it back on, but they do
upside down.
Yes, so it's erect. No, it's erect.
I thought I like that's a nice little touch.
But but that whole scene is my first real criticism of them. Well, not criticism.
All of them together in the house.
Yeah, they don't have, for one, talk over each other and talk loud to such an extent. It's difficult to know what is being said sometimes. I did find myself thinking, as an adult, Yeah, you're all just talking over each other.
But I think that is a very it's natural for me. That
no, it is natural, but it's something that I noticed more now as an adult when I watched it, having not ever really watched it in between being much younger and now. I did find myself thinking, I can't. I feel like I've missed some piece of sentences because you're all talking over each other.
Oh right, no, I don't know. I wouldn't. You know, I didn't find that at all. Really,
but it's not criticism. That's how kids talk.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how kids.
But no, it's interesting that you get that opinion, opinion from it though. Yeah, I like that.
But that's just only from my rewatch now as an adult.
Like you say, when was the last time you watched it? About 10 years ago, did you say?
At least 10 years ago. And to be fair, I probably didn't watch it much at uni. So probably last time I watched it, whereas it. Teenager, properly watched it.
Yeah, like you say, decade, isn't it?
You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's one of them. Watching it now much more as an adult, I'm like, yeah, you are just shouting at each other quite a lot at this point.
But then introducing the Spanish housekeeper.
Oh, I fucking love that.
Brilliant, good scene, good scene.
Right, for one, I have many questions. How? Right, and I think this was pointed out to me on a YouTube video one time.
Go on.
How, right, does the mother hire a Spanish-speaking housekeeper?
Yeah.
Without either of them speaking any kind of English? How has she met this person?
She might have got it through an agency or something.
Oh, he never says that. He almost just makes it out like he just meets it.
She just fucked your point off there.
Yeah, well,
because then you went, oh, he's right.
Yeah, well, just how she even done it? Did she jump her or something like that? How have you communicated? You will clean my house if you
just
come with me now.
Excuse me. Oh, no comprende. Like, come on, clean me.
Yeah, come with me. Come with me. I suppose if you're going to remove all the magic, yes, a Spanish-speaking agency has contacted the mother.
Well, yeah.
But anyway, yeah, they walk and she's given her very realistic instructions, and the mouth is translating.
The house. That's what it is. They pack in the house. So the boys, Samwise Gamgee and Josh Brolin's mum. She's like, oh, I need you to pack this and pack that and don't forget this and don't go up there. And she's like, she doesn't really speak English, and his mouth's like, well, I speak Spanish. So he's walking around the house and he's like, this is where we had the marijuana, this is where we had the cocaine, and the sex dungeon's up there, and she's like shitting herself. She's
what
like,
house have I come in
yeah.
into?
I thought that was quite clever and quite smart. But then obviously the boys are in the house, still talking about having to move away. The Josh Brolin has to look after all the young guys, and this is where they're like, oh, what can we do? Let's go and find some interesting shit in the attic. So they toddle up to the attic, and after searching about the gaff, they find the treasure map.
Yeah.
And this treasure map, apparently the history behind it is this pirate was chased by the English, and
One-Eyed Willie.
One-Eyed Willie
was chased by the English. Historical point, the British Navy was not totaling about anywhere near the Pacific Northwest of America at the time.
Gathered that. It is a treasure story.
It is a treasure story. So One-Eyed Willie, chased by the British fleet, basically lands there and buries his treasure there.
They trap him in the cave. That's like the big thing, like, oh, he's trapped in there with all his treasure. So anyway, talking about that, kind of skipping ahead to the boys getting on the adventure. When I thought, hang on a second, on my more analytical adult brain, I thought, for one, if he's hiding in a cave, who set all the fucking traps all the way to find his treasure? Well, why would he do that? Why would he get locked in a cave then go, I'm going to...
Well, that's the thing. He's barricaded himself in, if you know what I mean.
For something to do, he's made all these traps for something to do.
Well, yeah, but also presumably so the British Navy don't get in his set.
Well, they thought they killed him because they locked this. They bombard and bomb the fucking cave where he's in and lock him in.
So yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, has he gone like, I can get out here, but I'm going to.
To be fair, if you're a pirate, you can't really get out. What else are you going to do with your time?
Well, kids got in.
Yeah.
And they've got to start from the beginning where, and they find that Chester copper pot. The other adventure that apparently this legend that they read about in the attic has been on an adventure to try and find One-Eyed Willie's gold. So yeah, now we're 20 minutes in here. We're 20 minutes in. First big tune. Well, the only real big tune, but an absolute stone cold classic. Cyndi Lauper's Goonies R with an R, not A-R-H, just with an R.
Yeah, an
Goonies
R.
R.
Goonies are good.
Good enough.
They are good enough.
Which is a really good tune. I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fan of Cyndi Lauper anyway, but that is a good song.
It is a good song.
And it's the end titles song as well.
Yes, it is, yeah. It is a good song. It's a good
song.
moment,
It
anyway.
is really good,
And
yeah.
I like how they play it like it appears on the telly and stuff like that.
Like it's MTV.
Yeah.
Because that was huge, obviously, at the time.
Well, exactly. I like it. I like that they didn't just oversaturate the thing with it. They just played it as though it would occur naturally. And you naturally occurring Cyndi Lauper. You've got to give it credit for that.
It's a really good song. I do like it. So, boys found the treasure map, decide, right, we're going to go on the treasure. So, if we go on a treasure run, we might find treasure, we can save the town. Bang, there's your plot. You're 20 minutes in, you've laid the stones there, treasure map, you've introduced the bad guys, you've introduced all the
don't you love
the main characters.
A treasure hunting film though?
Yeah, I mean,
that's very much what it is.
I think this is why this kind of film it's a one and done.
Yeah, exactly. I tell you what it is. What I think the vibe they're going for though is which is not a one and done. But it's an Indiana Jones for kids.
100%.
Indiana Jones for kids, and
I love that you said that. I love that.
Yeah, well, it is, isn't it? It's just they're raiding a tomb. It's a pirate cave. We know, but it's essentially the same. It's functionally.
Do you know what it feels like? It feels like good ideas from an Indiana Jones film they never made.
Yeah.
On a small scale. Yeah. How could we don't want to globetrot like Indiana Jones, but we'll keep it in one scenario, in one setting.
Yeah. And you are exactly right though about one and done. And you know how I feel about one and done. And viewers, if you don't know, well, listeners, you don't have many viewers on a podcast.
If any?
If any, none, in fact, usually. Ordinarily. Yeah, I always like a one and done a film that has a nice beginning, nice middle, nice end, and it's over. We don't need a sequel. We had a good time with that. We had a good time with that. Don't fanny about with it now by adding a shit one, which we'll always have to compare. We'll always have to come out. I don't really like the second one. Don't watch it then. It's a perfectly good one and done.
Yeah, like you say, it doesn't need a sequel. You've said everything you need to say.
Yeah, and we're happy with that. Don't do another sequel.
Yeah, no. So, as they try and find out where this treasure map takes them, and basically it takes them like to the coast, which I presume is pretty close because you get that vibe that it's like a kind of like a fishing town.
Yeah, it is.
Because it's at the beach, isn't
it? It's the Pacific Northwest. It's at the beach, and you know, if you're going to have a film centred around a mystery around a pirate, you do have to have a coastline, don't you? No one's setting a pirate adventure in the middle of rural Sudan.
No, that's a really good point.
You know what I mean? Well, we've got this great pirate idea. Where are we setting it? The Great Plains. That's where we'll set it.
That's very good point. So the kids following this treasure map, and with the treasure map, they get this kind of skull key thing. So it's like a pendant almost, I would say.
It's a doubloon, they call it a doubloon.
The Spanish doubloon.
And obviously they find a place where it's supposed to be by lining up the doubloon with the series of rocks. And that's how they...
Which is on the coast.
Yeah. And then from there they extrapolate that it's in an old... that it will lead to an old restaurant, isn't it?
And the restaurant is where the Fratellis are hiding out, the bad guys.
Yeah.
So obviously we're having a run in air.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what happens. So they go into the restaurant trying to find the entrance to wherever they need to go to get to the fucking One-Eyed Willie's treasure, and they get caught by the Fratellis, questioned by them. They kind of rile the kids up, scare them a little bit. And do you know what as well? I think particularly like the Amberlin films, like you say in these big adventure family films, they always have a sense of real danger, but not.
Yeah, no, yeah.
They get shot at. The Fratellis shoot, like later on in the film, they're literally shooting at kids. I'm going to murder a child.
Yeah.
But you know that they're not going to get shot. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you know that. You know, they're not going to shoot. You're going to miss, and they do.
They are going to miss.
But that menace, there's always that slight, and I find that is a theme in Spielberg's films, especially from the mid-70s, obviously when he did Jaws, obviously, you know, he produced a lot of films and the Indiana Jones and stuff. There always has to be, like the Ark, like the Indiana Jones, I'm referencing Indiana Jones again, but again, that, it fucking melts you. It's that strong, do you know what I mean? It's like, it's danger. There's always that sense of adventure, but danger.
Yeah, well, he's very good at that. Building, exactly. building a memorable and suspenseful moment. That's what he's famous for.
True,
I suppose.
Very true. So the kids get fucked off by the Fratellis, questioned, and they're like, we need to get rid of these kids because they're going to find out we're stashing dead bodies here and we're actually on the run, unwanted. The Josh Brolin's character turns up, like, kind of finds the kids at this restaurant, and then the kids are like, we need to go back, there's something in there, we need to go back, something's not right. And they see the Fratellis loading these big bags into cars. They're like, they're fucking murderers.
Well, yeah, they are murderers. Well, they've already found a dead body in the fridge.
Well, that's it, yeah. And there is sloth in the background growling, and you're like, oh, fucking hell, so dead bodies and bad guys and fucking weird creatures shouting and shit. So as he's mooching about, I always remember this line out of this film, so they're having a mooch trying to find, they think there's an entrance. So there's two good things that happen in the restaurant for me. What I like about this scene is Data finds an old printing press with all like, and he switches it on by accident, and it's printing $50 bills. And he's like, guys, $50 bills, $50 bill, $50.
Yeah,
not racist. $50 bill.
It's literally what the film does. It's not.
Yeah, no, that's it. Yeah. And he's like, we can save the town in any way. It's fake notes, and then where the adventure really starts is Chunk is at a water cooler getting some water, and they're like, oh, Chunk, don't go near it, you're gonna knock it over. His fucking, because that's his fucking trait. And he gets water, knocks the fucker over, and the water spills down underneath the fireplace in the room where they're at. And then they realise, hang on a minute, I can hear something's dripping. Move the fireplace, smash open this grate thing that's there, and they see the tunnels, which is where the journey starts from, going further down and further down, where they do eventually find One-Eyed Willie's treasure.
So they pass that first obstacle. They find their way in. Like, I guess
adventure starts, mate.
Yeah, adventure starts.
The adventure starts. So going through this melee of finding the entrance. This is, like you say, Chunk gets stuck in the fridge.
Yeah.
With the dead body. But the positive about that is that he's full of ice cream.
Well, yeah, so we can crack on with that.
Again, it's feeding into that character trait, isn't it? So the guys go down a hole, they find it goes into a little cave. So the first kind of cave setting they go to is the water pipes.
Yeah.
And they're all like, oh, what's this? And they're like, Mal's dad's a plumber, and they're like, what? And he's like, definitely water pipes.
Yeah.
And they're like, right, well, we can get help here. We need help because these bad guys, we know these bad guys.
Well, they start praying on there.
And then another montage where you've got the drinking fountain going up and down, like the comedy.
Yeah.
Fucking.
Well, it's the water supply clearly for the country club above the thing, which is of course the thing that's trying to buy the town. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, the guys. The town,
because that wants to expand, innit? So they start bringing on that, causing to get problems with the water supply, thing starts going up and down. But the one that always makes me laugh is the one with the toilet, where all the water rushes up
out
and it pushes him and into the ceiling. And I always thought to myself, why aren't you died? Like you should die after that. He twats into the ceiling with the power of a fucking.
That's a proper gush, isn't it?
Yeah, and I'm like, you die.
He does absolutely.
You won't be calling for your dad. You die.
He absolutely smashes his head against that ceiling.
Yeah.
Right, so they rattle these water pipes, and then it flashes back then to what's happening with Chunk, and he's being interrogated by the Fratellis, and then there's a good little scene with him, and he's like, tell us the truth, and he's like, okay, and he tells this story of when he ate too much food and threw up over loads of people.
Oh yeah.
And then
because they go tell us from the beginning. Yeah, he's like, oh well, right, when I graduated.
Yeah, the dawn of time.
Yeah, you're like, right, okay.
And then he comes back and he's like, okay, I just ate too much and I threw up, and I was like,
and then the main villains are just there listening to him, like, right.
Yeah, like, this is not. We're asking where's these kids? Where the kids were after?
Where kids?
Where's the kids gone?
Very patient. Murderers.
So then it flashes back to the kids after they've rattled all these hilarious scenario where they're moving the water pipes at its country club and causing all sorts of havoc with the water supply. They go into another section of these caves as they're getting deeper and deeper, release all these bats. These bats come flying out, reveal where the entrance is to these caves, reveals it to the Fratellis.
And thus saves Chunk's fucking hand, because we're about to blend his hand.
Kid Puree, that's what she said.
Yeah, Kid Puree! Evil.
I know.
Yeah.
Again, sense of danger, but not.
Yeah.
She's not going to put his hand in. She's threatening him, but she won't.
Yeah, she won't.
And she kind of says, like, get your eye. Like, she's not So yeah, like you're saying, that introduces the Fratellis to go on the hunt for the kids. They know where the entrance is to these caves to go after them. And then Chunk is introduced to Sloth. He's put in a room for safekeeping while the rest of them, the Ma and two boys, go out and chase the kids.
Yeah.
And another great scene. Baby Ruth? Ruth? He's got a chocolate bar, Baby Ruth.
Yeah.
Which is it's quite a nice chocolate bar, actually.
I've never had one.
Have you never had one?
No.
You can get them over here. They're alright.
Yeah.
But obviously, back then when you're like, exotic is American food.
Yeah.
Do you know,
I imagine if you watched it
as a
over
kid,
here.
I was like, American stuff, yeah. But I do like that, and he's like, that's where they kind of build the bond, and it's quite a sweet relationship that they build, but a bit creepy.
Yeah.
In equal measure.
Yeah.
Equal. Do you not find?
Yeah.
It's like they tell each other they love each other.
I know, yeah.
On more than one occasion.
I know. Yeah, it's more creepy nowadays when you watch it when you're a kid, but it's sweet when you're a kid, isn't it?
You're like,
he's made a friend. Lovely, he's got a friend, a little fat lad that's picked on all the time.
Don't do truffle shuffle anymore.
Yeah, you don't have to do truffle shuffle with him because, like, no one's looking at him.
Yeah.
It is sweet. Creepy, but sweet.
So, this is my big criticism of the film. So, the film hits the 60-minute mark, right? And the kids are in a cave and they find this under the cave waterfall. And for 15 minutes, it's like nothing happens for 15 minutes. The slap bang in the middle of the film, where there's no advancement in the stories. And I say it's a criticism, but I think for the last 60 minutes, it's been bang, 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 bang. You're just getting adventure, and you're on that. The track's being laid and the train's left the station.
Yeah.
And then they understand that, obviously, there has to be a breather. It can't.
Yeah, I suppose this is the film.
But then, could you cut that out at the end and made it maybe an hour and 40 instead of a 2-hour film? Because that's how if that was me, I would have edited
With
it like that.
too long downtime without any much problem.
Yeah.
I can see that. I mean, I didn't really think about it as a negative at the time, but now that you bring it up, I can definitely see.
It's like
I can
it almost
definitely
pauses
see
for 15
where
minutes.
the film sags a little bit.
Yeah, I think it does.
At the midpoint. In that the bit where they're in the well. In the
wishing well part.
In the wishing well. Yeah. Well, yeah, because they can get out, but I think that's what they want. It's a quiet moment, so of almost you can stop here, guys. You can stop. There's a way out.
Yeah.
There's a way out. You can go. You've got this moment of where they can get on a bucket and one of the girl's dickhead boyfriends.
Yeah, who happens to be at the top of the well,
and he'll drag them all up. Or whatever.
Yeah, home time.
Yeah, but they decide against it. So I think it's intentional. You know, it's an intentional breather of the film.
And I get that, and I do see that, and I totally agree with it, and I know that's what it is. But it still doesn't. For me, I'm thinking, just go, just keep the pace, and you know, for me, another 15 minutes off the end would have been welcome, because I actually forgot it was on for 2 hours. I actually forgot. I didn't realise. I'd never realised, and I'd watched it on DVD.
That's a surprisingly long film for a children or young person's fair at the time. Like sometimes like young people's thing barely gets over an hour and a half.
And exactly. And do you know what else I noticed about the film? And I'm quite interested to hear your opinion on this, but 10 minutes in, I thought, I know what this film is for the 80s. It's a tween film for the 80s.
Yeah, I feel like it's it's that.
It is,
it's a young teenager.
But then boys are only like 11, 12, aren't they?
I think its target audience is exactly when the main character is. You're supposed to be able to relate, and you're supposed to think of them as one of your friends, if you know what I mean. I could be with these people. I could do these sort of things. And it's very much I know you're not right keen, and I'm not right keen, but Mr. Chris Columbus, of course, directed first 2 Harry Potter films. Yeah. Right? And whether you particularly like Harry Potter or have much a connection with it, it's very much going for that. It's targeting the exact age group who the main character is. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Just started secondary school, really. You know what I mean? Just doing that, it's exactly that target, and I think Mr. Chris Columbus, of course, who
finger on the
wrote
pulse.
it,
finger on the pulse.
That's exactly what he was doing. He wrote a thing for 12-year-olds. He directed a thing for 12-year-olds. Yeah, really, that's its target.
Yeah, no, you're right. So the kids go through the caves, followed by the bad guys, Fratellis, followed by Sloth and Chunk. So there's your three.
Groupings.
Your 3 groupings of characters. So eventually the kids, escape all these boulders dropping down, like you say, very Indiana Jones there. The next
traps,
room is traps.
All the way through it, they're having to solve little traps. It's like a very simple action adventure game, or one of them old point and click sort of games. Adventure games. Island. Because you've got, you're up against, it's a puzzle, isn't it? They have to solve a puzzle, even when you get right towards the end, the last puzzle with the
bones organ, where they press the wrong note and the fucking floors.
And every time they press, it's a game. A game has been presented, and they have to get through these series of challenges.
And they do.
And I like them. They're very simple. The only one that's not simple is obviously the playing the bone organ, but all the rest of them are very...
Just go quick.
Yeah. Although there's one of them, where Thingy falls down.
Data, and he falls
down, and he uses
the false teeth on the
spring to save his life. But the next scene is they've all climbed down there. So how have they got from there? Like, was that to solve the puzzle? Essentially, you have to sacrifice one of your teammates because
do you know
they
what?
didn't get, like any
There's
other...
another moment like that, mate. There's another moment like that. So I'll get onto that now. So the kids get through all these challenges, basically followed by the bad guys, the Fratellis, and they eventually go down this water slide, and they end up in the cave where One-Eyed Willie's pirate ship is. And do you know what? Sloth and Chunk just disappear for about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
They disappear and then just turn up. It's like, hey, you guys. The classic fucking line. Everyone, again, very pop culture.
Yeah.
So the kids...
Well, you hear people quoting it just totally out of context. Yeah.
So the kids find the pirate ship. They find all the treasure. And Chunk turns up with Sloth. The Fratellis have got hold of the kids. And Sloth saves the day. He has a bit of a tear up. The kids grab loads of fucking jewels, jump into the water to escape the fucking Fratellis. Chunk knocks his brothers out, and then they have a little. What I thought was interesting as well, what I didn't even remember from even the last time I watched it, was, and I don't know why it's one of them scenes that just you never remember about, or I don't remember about the film.
How was it?
When she's like sings to him, and you realise that he was fucking dropped, and that's why he's so disfigured, and he's got one eye fucking down his cheek, and he's got like a fucking cone head. He's just like a mess, and he's like the most deformed like retard dude ever. So the kids then swim away from the boat. They see an opening in the side of this fucking rock face. And Data happens to have a stick of dynamite in his backpack, as you do.
As you do. Well, they found them earlier, didn't they? They thought they were candles.
Yeah, well,
and they light it, and there is a sort of candle. It's dynamite!
Yeah, it's like, okay, hell. Yeah. And but while blowing a hole in the side, they block themselves in.
Yeah. And Sloth is there to save the day, and he holds up the boulder.
And do you know what I like as well? Where he tears his shirt, he's got a Superman t-shirt, and he goes, and it actually plays the Superman theme as well. Richard Donner.
Yeah.
See?
If you're going to reference something, reference your own work.
Not like modesty, as you say, Mark. So yeah, Sloth manages to use all his strength to open, move this boulder, which opens enough of a space where all the kids can escape. So the kids are on the beach, find the cops are right there. We know where you're going to be. You're right there, right then. Like, just turn up out of nowhere. And how many TV cameras does it need? They've been gone for 12 hours.
Yeah.
They've only been gone 12 hours. And
National
news.
Has descended.
National news. So, funny enough, every single parent's there at the same time, because that's where they were going to be. Find them on the beach, just there you are. So you have a nice family, all the kids are safe, and he introduces the parents, and obviously the parents are more of a caricatured version of the kid.
Yeah,
like Data's dad's got a fucking camera on a spring that doesn't work, and Chunk's mum and dad are quite chunky.
Being their main characteristic.
Yeah.
The big boned.
Yeah. Big. I'm not a big boned. No, fuck off, you fuck.
But they all very much are that.
And then the Fratellis come out of nowhere. Like, they have managed to get out somehow.
Yeah.
And they get arrested by the cops because the cops are there. Obviously, kids have gone missing.
Yeah.
And the real bad guys of the piece, the guys that are trying to take over the town and knock all the houses down and buy the land. For some unknown reason, why is his dad the town leader? Don't really explain that. But he's responsible for signing the papers when they turn up.
I think it's mostly because it's not just their house, is it? It's the old. Well, he might be like the town mayor or the town alderman. There's a very much.
Don't he? But I get the impression he works in a museum. Hence why he's got the treasure map in the first place, because they hint at that.
They do, but like they have a very healthy part-time sort of democracy in the States that I could get into, and so he might be he might be
so anyway,
he might be some low-key town official while also being the museum person.
Fair play, you can do two things at once.
You know what I mean? You can do two things at once. It is humanly possible.
Yeah, that's true. So as the Fratellis are getting arrested, and these two guys come to get the paper signed, the camera turns around to the Spanish housekeepers there as well.
Yeah, well, she's the one who finds...
She picks up the bag, and what's in it?
Jewels, pearls, look like fucking marbles, to be honest.
Marbles, yeah, they're just coloured stones, aren't they?
Marbles, is that?
And so the as soon as this woman, fucking Spanish housekeeper, pours them on around, the camera zooms into him. The dad he's like, get the dad's attention. Dad, don't sign
Just
it, don't
about
sign
to
it.
sign.
Just about to sign.
No, but he had his hand there for
he
ages.
did. Like, I'm going to sign
Give
it.
me the cue. I'm signing the paper. Everybody.
He could have signed it. Just sign it.
You could have written a small fucking postscript after it.
Poem wrote. But could have wrote a poem.
What's his signature? I, being acting of sound mind.
Don't even get to it.
Fucking hell. But yeah.
They save it in time.
They'd save it in time. Because of the dad's delay.
The dad's delay.
If she were one more second.
I know.
One more second, then.
Lot's gone.
Yeah.
Moved away.
It's gone. I've got the paper now, bollocks.
You signed it too late.
Yeah. They could imagine if that were end. He signed it. He's done.
Didn't save it, fuck off.
Didn't save it.
Oh no.
The end.
The end, yeah. Crying
Credits.
kids. Crying kids, no lot. So yeah, but that's the film. So tell me your thoughts then overall, right? So we'll give it a score. Go on, like we did Mrs. Doubtfire. Go on.
Oh, a score is so extremely difficult because what I'm going to say is.
And when you give me the score, I want you to explain.
Well, I am going to give you my explanation.
Go
first before my score because.
Like it.
When I watched this as a kid, I thought, what a fantastic film, and I watched it loads and loads.
Yeah.
But then after spending such a long time not watching it, I really enjoyed it, but I didn't love it, if you know what I mean. I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it in a kind of... I'm just happy with it. I'm happy with the film. You know what I mean? I enjoyed watching it.
Okay.
I enjoyed every minute of it. Is the soundtrack good? It's great. Are the characters good? Totally fun.
Yeah.
Really enjoy them. Is the plot intriguing? Well, it's a treasure hunt, so that depends on your idea of what's
Mini
intriguing.
Indiana Jones again. It definitely is. It definitely
it's Mini Indiana Jones. Do I like Indiana Jones? Yeah. Was I a kid at some point? Yeah. Exactly. It's a perfect little film.
And
I perfectly love it as a perfect 7, because it's just a perfect 7. Do you know what I mean? Warm fuzzy feeling. Loved it. Really enjoyed it. I'm not fucking right to die for the Goonies. No, it was loads of fun. I'm not going to man the barricades to defend it against its critics, but I was like, I had a good time. I enjoyed myself. Yeah. You had fun making it, obviously. I had fun watching it. Successful film is The Goonies. 7.
Okay. I like that. That's quite passionate for a 7.
It is. I'm passionately pro just being a good standard 7 film.
And do you know what? I'm gonna go with you because I do agree with most of your points there. I don't know if it's more of a nostalgia thing and not because I love it like I do the Ghostbusters. Do you know what I mean? It's not a lot of film I love. I'm just using Ghostbusters because that is an example of something.
It's a film you watch and you have a strong feeling about, but not the strongest feeling about. And that's why I gave it that 7. And that's why I think you're kind of saying that. You picked it as 7.
Yeah.
It's a really good film, and I really enjoyed it.
100%.
Will I put it on all the time? No.
Like I say, I'm I suppose every 18 months, 2 years is semi-regular. That's just because it's just...
Yeah, but I feel like you can get away with semi-regular, but I wouldn't ever...
Sunday afternoon, bang.
Yeah, bang, this would be...
Yeah.
I love this film. But I feel like whenever you put it on, you'll come out of it consistently happy. I just won't always think to watch it every single time.
Yeah, but it's not
Do you know what I mean?
It's
not my go-to, but will I know I'll enjoy myself if I put the Goonies on? Yeah, I think I will.
It is one just to end on a bit of a thing, so... When the kids get rescued, or not necessarily rescued, when they get discovered on the beach and the data gets interviewed by the local TV, and do you know? Did you hear what he mentions? He mentions the fight with the octopus.
Yes, there were a lot cut from the film.
There was.
Apparently, it was supposed to be quite long. I don't know how long this would be in time, but the thing that I read. Where I got this
that website what states true but not.
But where it said it was something like 260 pages long. I don't know how much longer.
So in a screenplay, in terms of pages versus length of film, a minute of film should be a page of a screenplay.
See, you've dropped a fact on me there that I had no idea.
That's true.
So 260
260 minutes. A screenplay page is a minute. So when the 100, that's why, when they talk about, then now in terms of length of film versus screenplay. That's what the standard
but that's long. Like, it was that. I mean, it was never going to get that amount of time. It didn't even have that amount of time.
Not at all.
But for a story to be condensed, there's going to be a lot cut.
Yeah, and there is, and I think that the most famous one is that octopus scene, and there is it's a deleted scene where there is a meeting an octopus, but it's a bit
watch it, but it's
fake,
weird.
Yeah,
there's a weird scene.
Yeah,
and cut it. Don't fit. Don't fit with the tone of the film. It's weird.
Yeah, it is
weird. Scene.
Yeah. What did you watch it? Did you? Google it
briefly. Yeah, just before watching this recording.
All right, okay.
So I can see why they cut it, but I also cannot really see why didn't you cut that line? Why didn't?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Why didn't you cut it?
It's a bit glaring at the end. You go, what octopus?
I think it must have been a mistake because it's like, what octopus?
No, because they obviously filmed that the octopus.
Well,
it was part of the screenplay or script or whatnot. Or they'd filmed that and gone, we'll mention that at the end.
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to believe the adventure that this kid's had with a giant octopus. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's in the scene when they get to when they get to the ship, isn't it? So again, my thoughts on it is I totally agree with a lot of your points, and I like you say, it's a very, if you can have 7.5s or scale of 7 minus or 7 plus.
No, but 7. I think I'd get, which is why I tried to put it.
Not getting specific.
It's the best 7 that I've ever seen. Do you know what I mean? It's the best 7 that I've ever seen. If you think a good film,
I think we will discuss other films though that will challenge that for you to go. Actually,
but
it's just that. Just one more notch to go. It just makes the difference.
Yeah.
So, guys, thanks for listening. On that note, we're going to knock it on the head. We're going to say thanks for listening. Thanks for the support as usual.
See you next time.
Hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you down the road. Bye.